I'd like to call the Tuesday, August 1st, 2023 Papillion City Council meeting to order. Ms. Brown, would you please take the roll?
Sunday, Mumgard, Gaines, Glover, Fanslaw, Klug, Stubbe, Engberg.
Do we have a affidavit of publication on file?
We do.
And a current copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the back of the council chambers. Got a presentation tonight. Mr. Rooks, welcome.
Hello.
And you have a visitor.
I do.
But it'll become a regular, so she won't be a visitor after this.
Yes, so we are fully staffed. I'd like to introduce you to Laura Harrison. She is our Community and Business Development Manager. She has been with us now 2.5 weeks. I haven't run her off yet, so that's a positive there. Laura will be doing a lot of BREs, so business retention expansion visits throughout the communities, and really focusing on workforce development as well. So especially when you look at our unemployment rate of under 2.5% right now, how are we going to fix brain drain? How are we bringing more people in? How are we getting, specific people into jobs? I think that's something we really need to focus on, especially when we have RFPs. That one of the first questions is, what's your unemployment? Where are we going to find people to work? And they don't want to hear, well, just go next door and take them from them. That doesn't do any good. So I think Laura's going to do some great things. First 6 months, she is just going to learn and absorb and try to figure everything out. But she's lived in Sarpy County over 20 years. Yeah, in Springfield. So very excited about that. And I will say, going from there, I have now made it through a whole quarter. I'm still here too, so that's a great thing. We've done a lot of good things, I think, this last quarter. Haven't landed any projects. But honestly, we've had 11 new to-market projects come into Sarpy County, and that's from Papillion, Springfield, La Vista, everywhere. And that's outstanding because every community is looking for something different, and we're trying to help expand all those tax bases and bring more people in. So we've had some really good things happening there. A lot of them are in manufacturing right now that are looking. We've had a couple sports and entertainments, 2 warehousing, and then some that aren't on here. We've had a couple, I would consider retail, like hotels, really start knocking on the door again, which is a good thing. So we're working on quite a few of those. We only had 1 prospect visit this last quarter, which I'm kind of perturbed about that a little bit, but it was a good visit. So that's a good thing there. Also, as far as interactions go, so I felt busy at least this quarter. We had 17 business interactions. I had 7 business assistants, only 3 BRNEs, but now Laura's here, so that number's really going to go up. And then also I did about 22 community interactions as well this last quarter. So again, just getting our name out there and seeing what the pain points are and seeing where we can help. And it's different all the way across. Trying to look here. What else? Again, I'm not going to just regurgitate everything on here.
Mr. Mumgard.
I just want to comment on something. If I'm reading the quarterly report right, the multifamily housing number of units permit issues, which I think is okay, the number of units that were being proposed to build in Sarpy County.
Yes.
And I see that for the second quarter, there were only 15 units issued permits for, and that was in Bellevue. And Papillion, we haven't had any units, both for the first quarter and the second quarter are both 0, which I take to mean nobody's taken out a permit to build an apartment building, right?
Correct. Now, I will say there are things on the horizon
Yeah.
through Papillion here. But yeah, right now, from the numbers that we receive, that's those numbers right now. But multifamily housing is definitely key right now, and that could be duplex, quads, row houses, apartments, anything like that. And that's a big need for all of Sarpy County right now.
Well, we've had a lot of apartment complexes built in Papillion over the last couple of years. So when I look at those numbers, I somewhat hope that is slowing down. I'd like to see duplexes and triplexes, stuff like that. I'll continue to watch. I just saw all the zeros, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange. I don't know if that's a trend or if that's the way it to be expected or not.
I think it might just be a little blip. I think there's still going to be some more coming up. I mean, I'm not going to say huge numbers at all, but we still need to make sure that with any company that comes in, that we can have employees live close to those jobs. And right away, with the interest rates and everything that are happening right now, that multifamily unit is something that we need to keep looking at.
Yeah, of course, I debate. I hear the high occupancy rates in apartments, and I debate whether that's because people want to live there or they live there because they can't afford the $300,000-$400,000 houses that are going up.
Now, I will say something on that. So, example in Papillion right now, so the average house decreased from 433,000 to 421,000. So about a 2.8% decrease. Not a lot, but when you look at all across Sarpy, they all are going down a little bit. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Still, we need to have a little lower than that, honestly, for those houses. Interest rates right now, still, when I pulled the numbers, 1.75% right now for a 30-year, and a 6.47 for a 15. National right now, we're at 7.2, so we're still below average. I mean, still below national average, but still that's kind of high. But no, the housing, it's still going to be a thing. I mean, especially if we want to pull in new businesses, employers want to see where they're going to be living. So it's give or take.
I found the zeros to be interesting. I hope they I would not mind if we had another quarter with a zero.
Okay.
Any other council questions? Anything else?
Well, the other thing on here would be just as far as the commercial, I think this is on here. I'm taking a look. Maybe this wasn't put on here. I apologize. So as far as the project permitted, you guys had some really good ones. So H&H Kia, the VA clinic, Meta, commercial warehouse building, you had another Shell building, you had Aldi. You had some really good buildings going up in the last quarter here, which is great. And overall, Sarpy has really had some good things too. The Bellevue University Fieldhouse, I think that's going to be an outstanding thing for all of Sarpy County. You have Smash Park, you have Lovely Skin, you have a couple of those other bigger warehouses or restaurant, entertainment places coming in. So Sarpy County is continuing to grow. So that's a big thing right now. So I'm excited for that. And, going forward, I think the thing that we're going to be looking at is focusing on those mid-range businesses and the retail. I mean, those are some things right now that we can definitely focus on, and there's spots open for them. Those bigger ones, I can't guarantee you that we could get someone in the time they want. Utilities, just speed to market, it takes more than 24 months to get certain utilities to sites right now, and a lot of the companies are looking for that quick turnaround. So, any other questions?
Appreciate
Yeah, our next two events, just so you know, our VIP event is August 16th at the Landing. So hopefully we'll see everyone there. And then on August 31st, we'll be at the CHI Hospital doing our strategic planning session. So we're switching up from more of a year-to-year plan to a 3 to 5 year strategic plan. And we're definitely looking for input from everyone to see what our goals should be going forward. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and welcome. Administrator's report, Ms. Powers.
Thank you. Open Omaha's annual event is coming up this weekend. Open Omaha is an event where dozens of historic landmarks and creative spaces are open to the public, and we're excited that Papillion City Hall will be one of those featured stops this year. This event is this Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And city employees and potentially the Historic Society will be giving tours of City Hall while people are able to walk around. So if you get a chance to stop by, it'll be a lot of fun if you guys get a chance. And then speaking of fun events, the kids triathlon is this Saturday at Papillion Bay, and volunteers are still needed for that. So if you're able to volunteer, come on by. Volunteers need to report around 7 a.m. and then the event starts at 8:30 a.m. And you can let either Tracy or myself know if you're wanting to volunteer for that. And then it's hard to believe, but Papillion Bay closes this Sunday for the season. I have no idea where the summer went. Next week there's lifeguard training, and then August 19th is Doggy Day at the Bay. So if you have a furry friend that you want to take swimming, that would be the day. And then just really quick, just to run through the fiscal year 23-24 budget. I know all of you are aware, but more so for the public, just to get the deadlines out there. The first reading and introduction will be next council meeting, which is August 15th. The second reading and the public hearing is September 5th. And the third reading and adoption will be September 19th. And it will need to be adopted with the emergency clause so that we meet the state statute deadlines for that. And then the city's tax asking will also be considered for your adoption and approval during the September 19th meeting. And then the current draft that we're working off of that we've presented to all of you during our workshops is not anticipating the need to attend the joint public hearing since our tax asking will be under the 2% plus new growth threshold for that. And then a big thank you to Nancy and her team for all their work on the budget, along with department heads and staff. A lot of time goes into that budget every year, but also a big thank you to you council members for laying out the vision for the city and for attending those 1-on-3 sessions with Mayor Black, Mark, and myself. You guys have really helped guide us with your vision and goals for the city to present a budget that we're really proud of for this year. So those are the deadlines for that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Councilman Gaines. Second by Councilman Klug. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Next is item D1, Ordinance 2003, an ordinance to approve an amendment to the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget. Is there a council member who will introduce? Introduced by Councilman Ingberg. Item F1, Resolution R230126, a resolution to approve a permanent water easement dedication from SID 366 Tower District. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R230126? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Stube. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote.
Our family had an interest in that property over a year ago.
Did you say had? Yeah, you're okay.
Did you want to vote?
Sorry.
Okay.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Item F2, Resolution R230129, a resolution to accept a dedication of street right-of-way for one tract of South 102nd Street right-of-way north of Highway 370. Is there a motion to approve Resolution R230129? Motion by Councilman Fanslow. Second by Councilman Gaines. Any proponents or opponents? Council discussion? Please vote. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Sunday. Did you?
Oh, no,
Okay.
sorry.
Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes. Got a short agenda tonight. It's all the regular agenda items. Committee reports. Public safety, Ms. Klug.
Thank you. We did have a meeting tonight, about an hour's worth of discussions. Two main topics were the discussion of inflatables in City Park, just the fact that things are changing. We needed to find out actions taken a few years ago administratively. We wanted to verify if that was still the proper way of moving forward and how we should be handling that, so direction was provided. to our city staff to ensure that we are watching out for the best interests of the citizens. The second item we discussed was the possibility of street legal golf carts on city streets. There was a significant discussion about it with concerns about safety and enforcement and state statutes. So a lot of information gathering for the people that were interested in this. I think there's 2 council members who are significantly interested in this, so hopefully we've provided some information and guidance so that they can decide how they choose to move forward. The third item that was brought up by Councilmember Ingberg was the property management that we put into place several months back. Mrs. Powers is going to take a look at that for us and see if it is possibly time to bring it back to the committee to ensure that the process that we felt we put in place is actually functioning the way that we want it to function within the city. So hopefully we will be having another meeting in the next month or so when appropriate information can be brought back to that committee and then to be shared with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Council comments? Mr. Stubbe.
Yeah, Mayor, I think I saw something from Congressman Bacon with regard to grant award. Can you maybe talk a little bit about what that's for and why it's an advantage to Papillion?
Maybe I'll ask Mr. Kleffner. That was good news for him.
We originally were awarded $3 million for the underpass after from MAPPA. After further review of the conceptuals, the estimate came out to approximately $10 to $12 million. We put in an additional grant application into the NDOT for additional TAP funding. We were awarded that just recently to cover the cost in that difference. This would be between 120th and 144th. This would connect the SIDs north and south of Highway 370.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Any other council? Just a couple things from the last couple of weeks. Thank Mr. Gowan for the idea, and well, Ms. Powers as well, the idea on how to honor Jordy Ball and Peaches James. Nice ceremony. Thank Mr. Ingberg, Mr. Mumgard, Mr. Sunday for that. Really good attendance there, and that was done during an event, softball event that I think was pulling people from 7 different states, playing at the Landing over about 3 days. So they're staying in our hotels and eating in our restaurants. So that was a great partnership with Sarpy Tourism and Rec. So thank you for that partnership with tourism. Then really appreciate all the time with council members over the last couple of weeks on the one-on-ones on the budget. Ms. Powers mentioned that's starting to come together. Good news is there was a lot of common themes from those discussions, and so that budget will be wrapping up early next week. You should have that in your hands, so you can start reviewing that. And then again, it'll be out into the public realm for about 6 weeks by the time it goes first introduction, public hearing, and the final vote, so you'll have time to work with that. Then we had a wastewater agency meeting. Nothing major occurred there. The construction is still proceeding. That's for the Zweibel Creek area, which is south of Shadow Lake. And so basically 84th Street East is the infrastructure that's being built out. And some of that's actually been built, and they're starting to pressure test the lines. So a lot of positive progress there. And then those are most of the meetings. Community Theater wrapped up their summer session. They had really good attendance there. So again, appreciate the partnership they've got with the city at the amphitheater for that event. And again, a typical reminder, it's not too early to be thinking of legislation. If there's things that are of high interest to you that we should be looking at, make sure we're aware, and we can be working with the United Cities and starting to formulate some of that. So let us know. Don't expect we'll get a lot done this next session, a little bit because of the dysfunction last session, and it is the second year of the biennium, so they usually don't introduce a lot of legislation, but we can start working on items. So let us know that. And Farmers Market wraps up in a couple of weeks, so be sure to get out for that. Any other council comments? If not, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Glover. Second by Councilman Ingberg. Please vote.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.